So this is why Die Hard is a Christmas movie. First and foremost, his wife's name is Holly. It's set at Christmas. The entire plot revolves around a family trying to be together for Christmas and having to overcome a barrier to that effort. Not to mention it takes place during an office Christmas party, which is the only reason the events are able to happen in the first place. Not only does it feature Christmas music, but the soundtrack is exclusively Christmas music. It involves characters coming to terms with their past and atoning for past faults and failures. In all of those ways, it is exactly like every other Christmas movie. If you want to go by the rule of thumb that if you remove Christmas from the movie or any theme from any movie, does it still make sense? Die Hard, without the Christmas theme, doesn't make any sense. Why else would he be there? Why else would there be a party? Why else would the rest of the building be empty? And it literally starts with him going home for Christmas. The writer even said that the script was written as a Christmas movie. The movie's writer has settled the debate once and for all, confirming it is indeed a Christmas classic. Stephen D'Souza gave us a handy checklist while appearing on the Script Apart podcast, comparing it to the 1954 baseline Christmas movie White Christmas. He notes that Die Hard takes place entirely in the Christmas holidays, while only the first and final scenes of White Christmas are set during the holiday season. The entirety of Die Hard is also at a Christmas party, while only the end of its 1950 counterpart is. Interestingly, there are 4 Christmas songs in Die Hard compared to only 2 in White Christmas. And in Die Hard, the party venue is threatened by terrorists, while the one in the earlier movie is threatened by foreclosure. D'Souza goes on to note that there are broadcasters with hidden agendas in both movies, while there are also German ringleaders, namely Hans Gruber and Adolf Hitler. However, the most startling figures are when it comes to the body count. D'Souza said, "Some people say to me, Die Hard can't be a Christmas movie because you kill people. And I say, was Ellis killed? Yes, they claim. We don't see Ellis killed. He's off camera. Does that still count? Do off-camera deaths count? Again, yes. Well, if we're counting Ellis, now that you, my skeptic about Die Hard being a Christmas movie, admit that off-camera deaths count, the body count in White Christmas is 26,128 people in the Battle of the Bulge, the opening scene in the movie, while there are only 23 deaths in Die Hard." Finally, D'Souza notes that the selfless sacrifice in Die Hard is Bruce Willis, John McClane running barefoot over broken glass, while White Christmas's one is only Danny Kaye upgrading Vera Ellen's train ticket. What makes a movie a Christmas movie? The obvious qualification that gives the film the exclusive honor of being located in the Christmas genre section of your local blockbuster. Christmas has to be the inciting incident or the goal of the story. If you can take the holiday out and the narrative structure stays precisely the same, then it doesn't count. All Christmas movies take place on or around Christmas, but not all movies on or around Christmas are Christmas movies. If we're going to stick purely to the criteria of a Christmas film being so because the story is predicated on it, remember that the only reason John McClane is at the party in Nakatomi Tower, or even in the state of California, is to be with his estranged family for Christmas. Two of the defining traits that people love about the character is that he's a reluctant hero and an underdog. But the added layer is that he's completely out of his element. He's a stranger in a strange land. He's coming home, all things being relative, as a peace offering to be with his family for the holiday after a rough couple of months of being away. He doesn't want to get involved with the hostage situation. He actively tries calling for help so that the police can deal with it. He just wants to protect his wife. When you get down to it, everything that follows is a very violent and bloody attempt to reconnect with his wife and kids to be home for the holidays. He's essentially Neil Page from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with a body count. And then I have a separate thing to go into after the fact of more like a counter thing.
Okay. So, well, let me just hit like a few like bullet points, and then I have a little mini article kind of like you just had to read to you too. So first one being, you've touched on it, while the story takes place on Christmas, the timing of the movie doesn't really have an impact on the plot of the movie at all. So for a film to be Christmassy, the time of year it is set has to have some impact on the plot. And for John McClane battling terrorists, we could happen anytime and anywhere. Christmas has zilch to do with it. With 47% of a 2021 UK poll believing Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. And in the US, a 2019 poll by The Hollywood Reporter also found this view, with 62% of people agreeing it's not a Christmas film. Take it from the mouth of Willis himself, who said in 2018, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It's a goddamn Bruce Willis movie. And with that, I want to move into just a little article for you. Let's start with the tone and themes of the movie itself. So I saw one contemporary critic say about Die Hard, "That's right, I'm saying it loudly and proudly, since John McTiernan 1988 action classic isn't just set at Christmas time, it embodies the very spirit of the holiday." But he never actually spells out how exactly it embodies the spirit or how precisely what that spirit is. And maybe the crux of the discussion lies therein. What is the spirit of Christmas? If Christmas is about using breathtaking violence to solve your problems, then yes, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. If Christmas is about hanging the bad guy with a chain, then you got me. Die Hard is a Christmas movie, then you got me. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. If it's about how liberal use of bullets and explosives can save your marriage, then obviously Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Or look at it a different way. What if Die Hard were the prototype for Christmas stories? Then Bob Cratchit would have to rescue Tiny Tim from the evil clutches of Scrooge, who was about to sell him to a workhouse, and the story would crescendo into a knockdown, drag-out fight, the culminates with Cratchit being Scrooge into oblivion with Tim's crutch. Or The Grinch and his band of Grinches conducted an assault on Precinct 13 type of attack on Whoville, which the Whos beat back with wit, ingenuity, and a stockload of automatic weapons that never have to be reloaded. Or instead of his eloquent and powerful response to Charlie Brown's anguished plea for someone to tell him what Christmas is all about, Linus's response is, "Sure, Charlie Brown, I can tell you what the Christmas is all about," and flips aside his blanket that had been concealing an M60, shouts, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," and rains down a hail of bullets on the other kids who dive behind chair stage curtains and Schroeder's piano and other set pieces. Now, as I write this, I can see the inherent appeal of all these scenarios. I can't say for a second that the twisted dark side that makes up most of my soul wouldn't be at least intrigued by the image of a gun-toting Linus wreaking righteous havoc, or Scrooge and Cratchit going at it in a bullet-time Matrix-style combat. No, because A Christmas Carol and the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future rekindle the flames of empathy and compassion in Scrooge by showing him where love has existed in his own life, where it exists in the world around him, and where the lack of love can and has led him down a path he really doesn't want to go. The Grinch's heart grows three sizes that day because of the Who's joyful singing in the face of losing all their material wealth. Lucy and her gang of narcissistic miscreants are saved by Charlie Brown's vulnerability and Linus's generous profundity.
There you go, Eric, I guess.
And in response, they save the tree with a little love. So don't we want a break from all that? Shouldn't we want other choices provided than the violence that we're obviously addicted to? Isn't that the whole point of Christmas, to provide solutions we don't usually use, to put that normal shit down, to find humanity even in those people, the Grinches, Scrooges, and Lucys, or Hans Grubers, who seem to lack it? If Die Hard were a Christmas movie, Hans Gruber wouldn't have to fall off Nakatomi Plaza. He would discover the error of his ways and make a better choice, probably before he did something unforgivable. Pal McLean's cop friend on the ground wouldn't have to be redeemed by shooting Alexander Godunov, the world's meanest ballet dancer, but by convincing him of the error of his ways and helping him see the light. McLean and Holly would get back together because he revealed he had more in his emotional toolkit than punching and shooting his problems away. If Die Hard were a Christmas movie, McLean and Pal and Holly would engender empathy and love in Hans Gruber and his henchmen, and at the end they'd all join hands in a circle and sing, "Dahu, Doris, Dahu." But none of that happens. You know why? Because Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and that's okay. It's an action movie, and damn good one. In Die Hard, all of life's problems, even a failing marriage, can be cured by shooting or blowing them up. But Christmas, we should all hope, is here to remind us that there are other means to achieve larger, more hopeful goals. Merry Christmas. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Okay. So some points to that.
Some wrong points, but go ahead.
So to the plot, the entire plot of Die Hard is predicated on the fact that it's Christmas.
Because that's just a preface it.
No, that
happens to be Christmas. It could be Easter. It could be 4th of July.
Because he wouldn't have been there to spend...
It could be Thanksgiving.
The 4th of July with his family.
Why not?
Because it was for Christmas.
No, I'm saying, but it could have been a 4th of July holiday, and he's like, I'm going to spend that with my family.
And if it was, then it would be a 4th of July movie.
And it would still be an action terrorist movie. The time of the year had nothing to do with what happened in that movie. Nothing.
Not with what happened, but why it happened.
But it could have happened with another holiday. So it didn't have to be Christmas for those events to unfold. It could have been any other people are off work kind of holiday.
Okay. So let's talk about this. So could Home Alone.
Yep. But guess what? Home Alone has all those things I was talking about. People realizing they're wrong, learning to love and have empathy and change their ways.
So does Die Hard. That was everything that I said.
Doesn't. Did you not hear my part about, how we'll put in quotes villains in these Christmas movies learn what their mistakes and what they've done wrong and how to fix them, and they do that. In Die Hard,
everybody
they just fight
in
to
the
the
movie
death.
has to, because with what that article was saying, that equates to like the convincing the villains of their ways. That's like saying like we could have talked the 9/11 hijackers down.
That's not Christmas though. It's a Christmas theme to do.
But the action of like you're talking about talking down terrorists.
No. We're not talking them down. The terrorists are realizing.
No, it said something about
mishaps.
Holly and John talking them and convincing them of their ways.
Okay, yeah.
But when has that happened in any movie ever?
Christmas movies? Like
any
all
movie.
of them.
Convincing a terrorist that what
Not
they're doing is wrong?
Just whatever ex-villain or person is or was
Kevin
in that
McAllister
movie.
didn't convince the burglars that what they were doing was wrong,
Nope,
that they made 3 more movies.
It wasn't about them. It was about him learning that he loves and misses his family, that in the beginning of the movie he acts and shows that he doesn't give a shit about.
Right, and this was about John McClane getting back to his family for Christmas.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Because guess what John McClane didn't do in Die Hard?
What's that?
Make up with his wife and happily live ever after.
But the entire events took place because he attempted to do so.
Yeah, but he could have attempted to do so on Groundhog's Day.
Right, and Kevin McAllister could have been abandoned at home on May 4th.
Yes, but Kevin learned that value of family. John McClane just happened to be there.
He didn't just happen to be there. He was trying to be with his family.
Which he could do anytime. Kevin wouldn't have learned that he doesn't like his family. If it
he could have learned that any day of the week,
if it
any
wasn't
day of the year.
Missing Christmas with them.
No, I think no. Eventually, he would have been like, you know what? I miss my family.
But you're saying that Christmas didn't emphasize that feeling?
So, to equate it, I guess, the burglars were going after the houses because it was Christmas time and everyone was away.
Yes.
The terrorists went after the building because there was a Christmas party and the rest of the building was empty.
Correct.
John McClane was only able to stop it because he was there for Christmas to spend it with his family. So the terrorists were only there because it was Christmas. He was only there because it was Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That's the foundation of the entire plot.
It's not. Why don't you pull up what the plot of Die Hard is for me, David?
That's literally it.
Go ahead, pull it up. Pull up. What's the plot of Die Hard?
That's the foundation of the plot.
Oh, so that's not what the movie's about. Then.
That's why the plot is able to take place.
And what takes place? Anything Christmassy? Or it just happens because it happened during Christmas, it makes it a Christmas movie automatically?
I mean, you said yourself that there's a lot of Christmas elements.
There's Christmas elements in Harry Potter, too.
There's like a Christmas element. But it's those elements combined with everything else.
What? The hanging of people, the shooting of machine guns, the throwing off of buildings.
The whistling jingle bells in the elevator.
Yeah, they can throw that in there because of the time it takes place, but it has nothing to do with the plot synopsis, has nothing to do with what is going on in the movie. It's just something that they're like, oh, so we threw that in as part of the writing. Yeah, it's Christmas time. All right, they're in the elevator, play a Christmas song in there.
Well, speaking of the writing, your argument about even Bruce Willis said it's not a Christmas movie. The writer himself said he wrote it.
Wrote it as
a Christmas movie.
Yeah, they didn't finish that quote and realized this is a better action flick than a Christmas movie.
Oh, I've read the whole quote. What are you talking about?
How many movies as sequels where the first one's a Christmas movie and there's no to follow that are also that are not Christmas movies? If you can name one. How about it came out in like July?
It did come out in July. Gremlins came out in June. Nightmare Before Christmas came out in October. Reindeer Games came out in February. And The Miracle on 34th Street came out in May.
How about the 62% of Americans that agree it's not a Christmas movie?
When was that poll?
2021.
And they also had to throw the UK in there to help
reason.
argue their point.
That it's not.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then the argument about all of the violence. We already had the conversation about that movie with Hopper that you admitted was a Christmas movie.
That is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. So
because he starts out as a disgruntled, I'm over it, I'm going to retire from being Santa. Goes through this whole ordeal that is a violent ordeal and discovers, no, wait, I love making kids happy and I'm going to continue doing it.
Right. But I'm just saying that negates that article's argument of the fact that all of the violence means that it's not a Christmas movie.
Well, take from that article is the embodiment of what a Christmas movie is as far as what happens to like protagonists and antagonists in the movie and where they start and where they end. John McClane's still the same New York City cop.
Right.
Hans Gruber's dead. There's no Christmas feelings, characteristics about anybody in that movie.
Gremlins 2 is not a Christmas movie.
I'd even argue Gremlins 1 is not a Christmas movie, to be honest.
Well, the movie couldn't take place if it wasn't Christmas, so.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. But in the mind of a Christmas movie, I don't know if it doesn't have the characteristics.
Helps or hurts either of our points, but when I was reading all this, I had an epiphany about the whole, like, if it wasn't Christmas, would the movie have taken place? Is Ted a Christmas movie?
No, he could have gotten Ted for a birthday present.
He could have.
Yeah.
But he got it on Christmas.
Yeah.
It goes back to the Kevin McAllister.
Movie would be exactly the same, though, if he got him on his birthday.
Right. But
the same movie.
But as far as like
they just made it Christmas instead of his birthday. It all
happened because of that. Because there's so many movies out there that you could change the holiday.
And the movie's the same.
But it would be that holiday movie. Like for Home Alone, Thanksgiving. It would be a Thanksgiving movie.
Yes. But
so it's the same with Die Hard. If Die Hard was a Thanksgiving party, it would be a Thanksgiving
an action
movie.
Terrorist movie. Doesn't matter what time of year it is, whose birthday we're celebrating, does not matter.
All right, well,
everything in that movie would be exactly the same, and there would be zero tie-in with the plot of the movie with whatever holiday is going on.
Well, let me tell you why Die Hard could be considered more of a Christmas movie than Home Alone.
Okay.
The centrality of Christmas to the plot. In Die Hard, Christmas drives the plot as the events hinge on a Christmas Eve party, while in Home Alone, the holiday is merely a backdrop to the story. Themes of redemption and reconciliation. Die Hard emphasizes heartfelt reconciliation through John's efforts to mend his marriage, whereas Home Alone uses family dynamics for humor rather than emotional depth. Use of Christmas music. Die Hard integrates Christmas music subversively to enhance its themes, while Home Alone uses it mainly for ambiance and comedic effect. The spirit of sacrifice. John McClane's actions in Die Hard embody selfless sacrifice, while Kevin's defense of his home in Home Alone is more about survival than altruism. Villainy as a reflection of greed. Die Hard's villains reflect the moral futility of greed, while Home Alone's villains are comedic and lack deeper moral significance. And direct references to Christmas. Die Hard integrates Christmas deeply into its dialogue and action, where in Home Alone, the holiday serves as more of a setting than a theme.
That point's mute. All
moot.
of them. Moot.
Moot.
No, I'm muting you. I'm not listening. You're muted. We also want, obviously, comments in wherever you're watching or listening to this of how you feel.
Joe, Sam, Antonio, Eric.
Hopefully you try to make it a short.
It's got to be like 17 shorts.
So I'm pulling up a few more things just to hit you with that Home Alone Die Hard that you just did. So would you not say Christmas is just a backdrop during Die Hard? Christmas is more of a setting than a central theme. The holiday decorations, music, and festive atmosphere are part of the backdrop, but they don't shape the narrative or the characters' arcs in the way they do in more traditional Christmas movies.
No, but it's the premise. It's the only reason he's in California to begin with.
But there's no morale or message related to Christmas in that movie.
In what sense?
So Christmas movies carry a morale lesson, kindness, generosity, or the importance of family. In contrast, Die Hard doesn't focus on these themes. It's more about survival and heroism in the face of danger. The characters, while likable, don't go through the kind of emotional or moral transformations you might expect in a Christmas story.
Isn't that Home Alone to a T?
No, because he does go through those. He goes through emotional and moral transformations to realize he loves his family and misses them.
But I think John McClane already did that, which is why he's there to begin with.
He just needs some action. That's why he's there. From his wife.
He didn't even want it. Didn't you hear my argument about how he wanted nothing to do with it? He even tried calling for help. It's not like he was seeking it out.
Well, let's ask this. Because I know once you brought this up, however many years ago it was, and it flipped me the hell out. Is that just devil's advocate, or do you truly believe Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
You know what? It started out just being a dick. Like, let me get this guy's gears grinding. But the more I read into it, the more I'm like, you know what? They got a point.
You know what else I classify as a Christmas movie is when it's Christmas and I'm like, I need to watch that movie. And Die Hard does not fall under that category. I'm not like, it's Christmas time, I have to watch Die Hard. I don't think it's not what I want.
So I saw
Christmas movie.
I saw a statistic that I think it said last year, the most watched movie on Christmas Eve was Die Hard at 1.6 million.
Yeah, that's fake news. There's definitely more elves being watched out there.
Maybe.